Hello, I'm Professor Jake Bile, and welcome to Environmental Economics. It's one of my favorite classes to teach. It combines the skills and tools that I went to school and graduate school to study with the topics that have interested me since I was very young, looking at environmental issues. So I hope you sense my excitement and that some of it is contagious, and you guys get kind of excited about what we do as well. So in the first week of the class, what we'll be doing is talking about general intro to the topic, and there's a video that I'm posting about trade-offs and incentives, some kind of key ideas in economics, and we'll look at how those apply in some environmental contexts. In our second chapter, we'll focus on the relationship between the human economy and the natural world. And so we'll talk about how environmental economics is related to natural resource economics. And simply put, environmental economics is about the outputs from the human economy into the environment. It's about pollution. It's about how we release things into the air, into the water, solid waste, and the study of what damage that causes, what it costs us to prevent those kind of releases and prevent those damages. So that's environmental economics. That's going to be the core of this course. On the front side is natural resource economics. That's the study of how we use natural resources as inputs into our economy. And so obviously there's a strong relationship between these two things. We take things from nature, we use fossil fuels, we use timber, we use soil and sunlight, we use water. We use all kinds of different inputs from nature to grow things that we eat, to build houses, to run our cars, to do a lot of the economic activity. In fact, almost all of the economic activity, if not directly, then indirectly relies on natural resource inputs, whether that's to get electricity for computer science sort of tasks, or pretty much anything you can imagine you can trace back to some natural resource inputs that went into it. So, of course, there's a relationship between how we pull things from the environment, use them, sometimes short-term, sometimes long-term, and then release things into the environment. Sometimes we release stuff that looks quite a bit like the way we pulled it out, but very often it's in a very different form. And so that's traditionally one of the reasons why there's kind of this separation between environmental economics and natural resource economics, is it tends to be focusing on different things. If there's a little bit of camera action, it's because my friend here, I'll bring up this is my teaching assistant, this is Teddy. He's a good dog, but he does sometimes want to be pet. He gets jealous of that camera, and so you may see the video start shaking a little bit when he's like petting, saying, "Hey, why aren't you paying more attention to me?" You want to say hi to them, Teddy? No. Good. All right. So we'll look at natural resource economics largely in the form of some case studies. And so I'm posting videos about sockeye salmon and gold mining in Alaska. We'll look at groundwater underneath Tucson, Arizona, and we'll look at how elk are now grazing on some reclaimed coal mine land in eastern Kentucky. These are all topics where we're focusing on natural resources that are being pulled from the environment and used in various ways to do things that we get a lot of utility from. But there are trade-offs inherent in all of them, and so we'll start to kind of situate these sort of issues and how we can look at it in an analytical, economic sort of way. How we can almost create a ledger in our minds of the environmental benefits and the environmental downfalls of taking different approaches to these sort of topics. Our week 1 content will wrap up with chapter 3 from our book, which is kind of a primer on microeconomic tools that we'll be using. And so supply and demand curves, I'll be posting a video about that. That should be ground that you've covered at some point in the past. So we won't spend a ton of time on it before we move into focusing how we can use those same tools, but looking specifically at things like pollution. So that'll get us into week 2. But so there will be videos, lecture slides posted in the content section as well. There's a discussion board that I ask you to participate in. That is going to be part of your grade. There's a participation element, not a large part, but gives you incentive to join those discussion boards each week. And there will be a quiz I'll be posting, and that'll be in the tests and quizzes section. There will be a homework that'll be in the content section in a homework folder. So those are the 3 graded portions: discussion, homework, and quiz. We'll have those each week, at least until we get to the final week. Then things look a little bit different because we have a final paper due. So I look forward to having the class with you. Feel free to reach out to me at any time with questions you have, and shoot me an email, jacobbeil@wku.edu. Thanks.